Welcome. When a crisis hits, some organizations seem to just bounce back, while others, well, they crumble. Today, we're diving into what separates them. It's not about luck, it's about having a strategy to turn chaos into control. Let's get right into it. And the stakes couldn't be higher. Just look at this number. A full quarter of all businesses that get hit with a major disaster or serious data loss, they never reopen. They're just gone. So, what's the secret sauce for the other 75%? How do they manage to stay in the game? Well, I can tell you it's not a roll of the dice. It's a very deliberate, very planned strategy built on control and resilience. And here's our roadmap for today. We're going to break this whole strategy down into 6 key areas. We'll start with surviving the unexpected, then lay out the blueprint for resilience, figure out your breaking points, protect your data, build privacy in from the start, and finally, ask that really tough question. Are you really prepared? Okay, so it all starts with 2 core ideas: business continuity and disaster recovery. Now, they sound pretty similar, right? People use them interchangeably all the time, but trust me, what they focus on is totally different, and that difference is critical. Let me give you an analogy I love. Think of disaster recovery as the brilliant engineers in the engine room, frantically working to fix a damaged ship's engine. That's super important, right? But business continuity, that's the captain and the entire crew keeping the ship afloat, navigating through the storm, and making sure everyone keeps doing their job while those repairs are happening. DR is a part of BC, but it is not the whole story. And when a disaster actually hits, the response isn't just panic. It follows a clear path. First is activation. That's the moment someone pulls the big red lever and says, "This is happening." Then you jump into recovery, damage control, getting the most important systems back up. And finally, you move into the continuity phase, which is all about adapting and keeping the business running, even if it's with duct tape and workarounds. Okay, so this all sounds great, but how can you possibly plan a recovery if you don't know what's most important to save first, or how long you can even survive without it? Well, that's exactly where the business impact analysis, or BIA, comes into play. Think of it as your organization's MRI. A BIA is basically the tool that tells you what to grab when the building's on fire. It cuts through the noise and helps you figure out what's truly critical versus what's just nice to have. And it does this by defining 3 incredibly important metrics. The first one is your maximum tolerable downtime, or MTD. This is the big one. It's your point of no return. It's the absolute deadline where if a critical system isn't back online, the damage could be permanent. Or talking catastrophic. So once you know that absolute deadline, you can set your goal. And that's the recovery time objective, or RTO. If the MTD is the finish line you can't cross, the RTO is the time you're aiming to beat. It's the clock you're racing against the second a crisis starts, and it has to be shorter than your MTD. And the third piece of the puzzle is the RPO, the recovery point objective. Now this one's different. It's not about downtime, it's about data loss. It answers a really tough question. How much data, measured in time, are we willing to lose forever? So an RPO of, say, 1 hour means you better be backing up your data at least every hour. And once you have these metrics, the BIA helps you classify every single thing your business does. You can see here, the mission-critical stuff needs an RTO of maybe just a few hours. But the desirable functions, they can probably wait for weeks. This makes sure that when things go wrong, all your energy is focused exactly where it needs to be. All right, so we've got our business functions prioritized, but what about the information that powers all of them? I mean, keeping the lights on is one thing, but protecting your most valuable asset, your data, that's a whole other ballgame. And this means you have to understand the huge difference between security and privacy. Here's the easiest way to think about it. Information security is about building a giant, impenetrable castle to protect your company's data. You're guarding the walls, the moat, the whole thing. But information privacy, that's about respecting the rights of the people whose data lives inside that castle. You see, you can have a perfectly secure castle with terrible privacy practices inside. And this isn't just a philosophical debate, you know? This distinction is written into major international laws and standards. You've got frameworks like ISO 27001 for security, but then you have powerful regulations like GDPR in Europe and HIPAA for healthcare that are all about protecting an individual's private data. Now, the most sophisticated organizations, they don't just tack on privacy features at the end to check a box. No, they practice something much more elegant called privacy by design. So, what does that actually mean? It means privacy isn't a feature you add later. It's baked into the DNA of the system from day one. It's all about preventing privacy problems before they even have a chance to exist. And I've got a really cool example to show you how this works. Okay, imagine this. You have three rival companies. They want to work together to figure out the total number of security threats they've all faced. But they can't share their individual numbers with each other. That's top secret information. So how in the world can they calculate the total sum without anyone revealing their own private number? Sounds impossible, right? Well, there's a brilliant solution. It's a method called secure sum. Here's what they do. Each company takes its secret number, like TCS has 30, and splits it into three completely random mathematical shares. It keeps one of those random shares for itself and sends the other two to its partners. At this point, all anyone has are these random, meaningless numbers. Next, each company takes all the random shares it's holding, the one it kept and the two it received, and just adds them up. This gives each of them a local sum. But again, these local sums, they're just gibberish. They don't mean anything on their own. But here's the magic trick. When they add those three gibberish local sums together, all the random numbers perfectly cancel each other out, and bam, the true total of 100 is revealed to everyone. They managed to collaborate and get the answer they all needed, and not one of them ever had to reveal their secret number. Now that is privacy by design. So we've covered a lot. We've gone from high-level business blueprints all the way down to some really clever privacy-preserving code. It's an amazing toolkit for bringing some control to a chaotic world. But that brings us to one last really important question. Look, having a plan is absolutely non-negotiable. But real, true resilience, that's not some document you file away. It's a mindset. It's a continuous process of asking tough questions, of adapting, and always preparing for what you can't see coming. So I'll leave you with this thought. After all the planning and all the preparation, what's the one risk that's still out there? The one you haven't even thought of yet?